Hey neighbor, today I'm going to be talking about possibly the last onion you would need to buy or plant. If you're into being sustainable, you're a homesteader, or you just don't like having to buy inputs every year, I'm going to show you an onion I've been working on for quite a while. If you followed my channel, you know I've been a proponent of these onions for a long time now. I've been doing a lot of work with them, trying to figure everything out so I can tell you what I learned. And every year I learn something a little bit more different. And what I'm talking about is the multiplying onion. Now let's talk about what is the multiplying onion. Multiplying onion is not a bulbing onion. We did a video last week on bulbing onions. When I talk about bulbing onions, those big onions that you buy in the grocery store. That is different than what we're talking about today. And bunching onions is also different. Bunching onions is those little small, you'll buy them in the grocery store and there'll be these little small packs of onions about the size of your finger. There are several of them, and they'll have a band around them or whatever like that. Spring onions, some people call them, that is bunching onions. Multiplying onions are similar to bunching onions, but not the same. Now, bulbing onions and bunching onions have to be grown from seed. And to save a seed from an onion for the homeowner or for the gardener is almost impossible for an onion. I mean, it could be done, but it's a long process there that most people don't want to get into. However, multiplying onions lend themselves well to be able to save your own seed stock or save that onion so you can replant it from year to year. Well, today we're harvesting our tom onions, which is our most popular variety, the one I've done the most work with. I'm going to show you a couple more that we've been working with, but the tom onion here is probably the one I've had the longest. I started out with 3 different strands, one from here in Georgia, one from Alabama, and one from Texas, and ended up keeping this particular one I call the tom. I've worked with it trying to figure out the best time to plant it, the best time to harvest it, the best time to divide it, and the best fertility schedule for it. And I've got that down a little bit better than I've had it in the past. Now, for us here in Zone 9, we're in South Georgia. What I have found in the fall of the year, the best time to plant these multiplying onions for us is somewhere around October. Now you can plant them at the end of September. September 1st of October seems to be the optimal time to plant them. And what you want to plant is the single bulb. Break them apart and plant the single bulb there, and then they multiply out. Now we harvest these things and ate on them all during the wintertime. And what we would do is dig them up, pull off what we needed, and then plant 1 or 2 back. And that works wonderful. This time of the year, the end of February, 1st of March, seems to be the perfect time for us to dig them and split them again. If you do not dig them at this time and split them again, what happens is they just continue to multiply and your bulb gets smaller and smaller. So for the biggest size bulb to transplant, I have found that right now is the optimal time to do that. Now, keep in mind when we plant these, we're planting 1 single bulb right here in the fall of the year. And this time of the year, we are harvesting these bigger bundles right here. And some of them, I counted them yesterday, some of them have as high as 20 bulbs in one bundle that come from one plant. So when we harvest these tom onions, and we do that all during the wintertime, especially we start around Thanksgiving there, this is what we harvest. Now the green part will be on there. We cut the green off because we're fixing to ship these out. So when we harvest these things, we'll just pull them apart, get however many of these we want. We come here and trim off the roots there. We enjoy that bulb part there. And that bulb that you see right there is about as big as these toms get, but they have really big green stalks on them. We enjoy eating that green as well. So that is what it looks like when we harvest them and eat them with the tops on. So this right here is another multiplying onion that I got a hold to last year. Some people out of Texas sent this to me. And it's one I've never seen before. They called it a litola, I believe is the way you pronounce it, but it's a small multiplying red onion. And I'm still doing some work with this right here. I got to figure some more things out. They're a little bit smaller than the toms, or a good bit smaller there, but I'm wondering if I don't need to harvest these before I do the toms, because being able to harvest these bulbs at the right time has a big implication on how big the bulb is there. So it may be just something that I'm working with. I treated these just like I did the tom there, But looking back on it, I may have to grow these out a little bit different here. But the bulbs are a lot smaller. They do cure out to be kind of a red onion there. So I'm still working with these. We're selling a few of them. I don't know if they're going to make the cut or not. It's definitely an interesting multiplying onion, but it is different. Well, this one right here is one I think has a lot of potential. And you may have heard of this one before, but it is called a potato onion. It's real similar to the tom onion, but it has a bigger bulb on there. Let's get here where you can see them, see if I can split them apart. I want you to look at that bunch right there. There's several of them in there. Now keep in mind, again, one of these was planted back during the fall of the year. That's how much they've multiplied out. I'm gonna break one off right here for you. Now that's gonna end up being a little bit bigger than the tom onion. I can't tell a lot of difference on the flavor profile, but the bulbs do get bigger. It seems to have a lot of vigor, seems to grow well down here. Now, when I was younger, I've never seen a potato onion in this part of the world. We always had what we call the tom onion, the tom multiplying onion. So this was a new one, and I'm glad to see it's working out, growing in our area, our zone. All right, I laid them out here where you might could get a little better view of what we've been working with here. This is the tom onion. This is the potato onion. Now, it doesn't look like there's a lot of difference there, but these bulbs do get, I'm gonna say, nearly twice as big as what the toms do. And here's that small red multiplying onion we're working with right there. The tom and the potato onion, the tops on there look real similar. Tops on this red onion is a lot smaller there. So there's not a lot of difference in the potato and the tom, but there's a good bit of difference in this one right here. Well, this is a tom onion bunch I just dug. I'm gonna attempt to count how many is in there. There again, keep in mind, there was just one bulb planted back in the fall. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 plants in this one bunch right here. So the way we do it here in the South is we can dig these things this time of year, 1st of March, and we can do two things. We can store these to plant back in the fall again, or that we can replant some now and have them on up till it gets hot. When it does get hot here in the South, these onions don't do well. They really stress a lot. So if you're gonna grow them during the summertime here in the South, you need to make sure you got water on them, keep them fed well, keep them protected, because they will burn up in that hot summer heat. Or you can just simply store them like you would your regular onion, and you'll be surprised at those bulbs how well they store. And then next fall you come back and you plant them again. So we're gonna have a limited number of some of these for sale. I've been working on it, and we got some seed stock, but we don't have a lot. My whole intention of doing this was being able to bring these type of multiplying onions back, because they are really hard to find now. And look here, when I was a young man or a teenager, you could find these at every home and garden seed store everywhere in the springtime and the fall of the year, where people can plant them, but just about gone. And I realized that, and that's the reason I want to work on bringing these back where people would have them. Now, if you're going to have multiplying onions, make sure that you save them from year to year, because if something was to happen, you'll have your own seed stock. Share them with like-minded people that love the garden so they would have them, so we'll all have a constant supply of this great onion that we can enjoy, pass them down to generations, and our future generations will love as well.